Hey, thanks for joining us for a virtual tour of the lovely Berlin and Gorham, New Hampshire area. I know when we were considering moving, it would have been very helpful to have such a thing, so hopefully this is helpful to you as well if you're considering making the move to New Hampshire and specifically here to the North Country. So we're coming up Main Street, entering the city of Berlin right now. We have the Veterans Memorial Park over here, and we have our hydro energy plant. There's also a wind farm outside of the city for those who are interested in green energy. That's kind of a big thing here. Abishan's Hardware, great place to get all your needs for home maintenance, or if you're getting any sort of a fixer-upper project or anything. Over here we have the Fraternal Order of Eagles, if that's something that you're into at all. They do have a place here, and we're coming up into the business district here. The Princess Theater is in the process of being renovated right now, and that's slated to open next year. So that's very exciting. That'll be a great addition to Main Street. Printers, Edward Jones Investments. We have a little park area over here, and we have some vacant buildings. Great opportunity if you're looking to start a business. Jenny D Fashions. Middle Earth is kind of a cool hippie store. Anarchy Vapors, that's owned by a friend of ours actually. Hallmark store, jewelry store, and Family Dollar. And Maureen's Boutique is a great women's clothing and fashion kind of place. And opticians, we've got over here All About You Salon and Xinglong Chinese restaurant. Adult learner services, there's a florist there as well, and we've got City Hall right over here. And right here, the main entrance is where you go in if you do move here and you need to get registered to vote and all that good stuff. Across the bridge we have a whole other half of the city, Badger Real Estate over here. So that's really kind of the main hub right there of the Main Street Business District. That's really the life of the city. But of course there's plenty more to it that we'll show you. Over here we have the fire station and the library and the Berlin Bowling Center. Great place if you're looking to join a bowling league or anything. They also have a lounge, food, catering, and all that good stuff. And this gorgeous stone building here is the Episcopal Church. And then we have St. Anne's over here. That's kind of a big landmark in the city. It's so beautiful. And a hair salon over here. There's no lack of churches if that's something that you're interested in. There's all different types of churches and denominations and stuff around this area, so definitely not lacking in that department. So we're heading up Route 16 right now, which is kind of the main road up through this area. It takes you up through like Milan and Stark and all that good stuff. You'll see these awesome stone formations around the city at various points because we are literally kind of built into the side of a mountain. And up here we've got Northeast Credit Union. That's where a lot of the locals do their banking. It's kind of, I would say probably kind of the main institution, financial institution up here, but there are other options too, of course. And Coas Eye Care, another option for if you need glasses or eye exams or whatever. And we just passed the home care services, and they are always hiring, especially if you're a nurse or anything or have any expertise or interest in home health care. That's a really big opportunity for jobs. And honestly, I feel like the North Country, and Berlin in particular, kind of gets a bad rap that way. People assume there are just no jobs up here because it's a rural area. I'm telling you, nothing could be further from the truth. There are lots of jobs up here. depending on what you're looking for. The internet connection's good, so those who have the ability to work from home, who do any sort of tech sort of stuff, that's an option. We're in desperate need of any sort of tradesman up here. If you're a plumber, electrician, or carpenter, contractor, anything like that, there's a very high demand for all that kind of stuff. Lots of properties being purchased and sold, so if you're into real estate, that's another opportunity. So yeah, definitely no lack in the department of income for those who are willing to seek out jobs and work hard. So for here, we're coming along the river's edge here, and this is a pedestrian bridge that takes you over to the east side of the city. And in the fall, we have the River Fire Festival every fall here along the river, which is really, really cool. They actually have piers out in the middle of the river. Those are left over from when this was a mill town, and they would separate out the logs and lumber and everything coming to the mills. And out on those piers, they actually will light huge bonfires every fall for the festival, and there's live music. It's such a cool thing. ATVs are really big here, and skiing, if you're into any sort of outdoor sports, kind of showing off a little bit of the neighborhood here across the river. And there's houses all back up in these side streets. It's a really nice neighborhood, and especially when the snow melts and everything, spring, summer, fall, it's just an unbeatable view here over the river. You can kind of see the mountains off in the background. You can catch glimpses in between the trees. $1 million view here, that's for sure. You can see this bridge coming up. If you were to go straight over this bridge, you would wind up at the local hospital. It's a small community hospital, but really has everything you might need. They've got the 24-hour emergency services, birthing suites, and surgical facilities, and all that good stuff. So there's no lack of care if medical attention is ever needed up in this area. There's decent hospital and doctor's offices and all that good stuff. And further out of town here, there's also a community college, and we're coming up on the Northland Restaurant and Dairy Bar, and I think this is where we're just going to go ahead and turn around and head back into town. But this is a very nice restaurant, great seafood, but it's a little more high class, like linen tablecloths, bring your in-laws here when they're visiting from out of state kind of place. And there's an ice cream shop in there as well in the summertime. So we'll get turned around here, and kind of across the street, a friend of ours has a business, acupuncture and therapeutic massage and yoga. This is an amazing area if you are an aspiring entrepreneur. This is there's so much opportunity here for starting your own business, and the community really comes together and supports people who have that vision. Some other friends of ours are working on starting a cafe on Main Street. Another friend of ours owns the vape shop right there on Main Street that I pointed out. So just a great area for any sort of endeavor if you feel like you may have a niche market, or if it's just always been a dream to have your own business. So we're heading back into Berlin, and we'll show you kind of the other side of Main Street and head out towards the Gorham area and kind of the main strip between Berlin and Gorham. There are, of course, schools here, obviously. There's also a large and thriving homeschool community. If that's something that you're interested in, a lot of people here do go that route. And so you definitely would be in good company. There's a whole Facebook group dedicated to the homeschool community in New Hampshire's North Country, and they have some different partnerships and programs and homeschool days to go skiing and different things like that. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. And even as far as the community at large, very warm, welcoming community. It's a very safe community. I've definitely not seen evidence of, a ton of crime or anything crazy like that. It's really people looking out for one another, and everyone's got each other's back, it seems. It's the sort of place where you don't feel like you have to lock your car if you're running inside the gas station for 2 minutes to, grab a snack or something. It's really a great area that way.
I remember a story you told me when you went into a gas station for the first time, and it was a little strange to how you had to pay, right?
Oh, yes. A little outside of town, I came across this gas station, and they didn't even have prepay as an option. You just pumped your gas and then went inside and paid. And I've never even seen anything like that before. I've never seen anything but prepay gas stations. So I went inside. I'm like, oh, we can't pay at the pump. Can we prepay? And the guy just kind of looked at me like I was from another planet and says, well, how do you know how much gas you're going to need? Don't you want to pump your gas first and then come in and pay the correct amount? Like, wow, that is definitely some trust right there that people are actually going to be honest. And that's just the MO of this area. Just really good, honest people, and no cause to believe that someone would stiff you or would have any ill intent in mind towards a local business owner.
It's culture shock in a good way, I suppose.
Very true. Culture shock in a very good way. Definitely. So this might look familiar coming back from the other direction. We're back by the Northeast Credit Union again. And there's a little pub here. They have a great breakfast bar. And Ron's Variety Store. If you're looking to open a business, that place is actually for sale. People are retiring and looking to head to some warmer climates, and they are actually selling that, not just the building, but everything in it for a negotiable price. So that might be a really good opportunity for someone who just wants to be their own boss and get themselves to New Hampshire. It's been a thriving business for a lot of years. Convenience store / like soups and sandwiches and different things. And you can see there's more houses over up in here. And back neighborhoods back in here. And the middle school and high school are off to our right. And we're coming to Pleasant Street right here. This is the other side of Main Street, because Main Street's a one-way street, and this is the one way that goes the opposite directions. This is basically the other half of Main Street. And we've got another dentist office here. There was a dentist office on Main Street that I don't think I pointed out, but maybe you noticed it. And a daycare facility over here for those who might be in need, or if you're interested again in having your own business, that's another opportunity. There's a lot of need for childcare services in this area. We've got Rite Aid Pharmacy, and of course they've got a convenience store and all that good stuff.
Pedestrians have the right of way.
Yes they do, and it's taken very seriously here to stop for pedestrians in the crosswalk. New Hampshire Works to help with job seekers. And COAS Family Health is right here. This is the local doctor's office, and they've got a lab and all different, just about everything you could need. Exit Realty and secondhand clothing store. Gold House Pizza, they're really good. Northway Bank, got Irving gas station here. We've got Karen's Building Center, another kind of hardware store type place, and they've got equipment rental services coming soon. On the other side, we just passed a Dunkin' Donuts. They're very popular in this area, for those who don't already know. And of course, the post office is right over here. And I know the post office was recently hiring. I don't know if they still are or not, but it's something for a potential mover to look into if that's something that you would be interested in at all. That is a job prospect. We have the Berlin Marketplace here. That's our mom and pop grocery store. US Cellular, Rent-A-Center, Healthy Freedom, health food store back in there. And the liquor store's back in there too, the state liquor store.
Can you warn them about the reception?
Oh, yes. For phone reception, really US Cellular and Verizon are about it for services that have towers up here. So if you are planning to move to North Country, I would definitely recommend switching your phone service ahead of time. We were unpleasantly surprised when we found out we had no reception with Sprint when we got here, and we're not able to stay connected or let our family know we got here safely or anything. That was a bit jarring. Or even if you're planning to come and visit, you may want to consider just getting the cheapest Verizon or US Cellular prepaid flip phone that you can find, just so you have something in case you need to get a hold of anybody or let anyone know where you're at or what's going on, or connect with family or hosts that you're staying with or whatever. So that's just kind of our little voice of experience speaking. Another gas station over here. And of course we've got the Verizon store coming up. And another hair salon. H&R Black. And the Auto Mart, one of them. There's a couple auto places around. See the river over on the other side, and again, the view is absolutely stunning, especially in the fall. It's just unbelievable. I don't even have words to describe it. You really have to see to believe. But when the river and all up the side of the mountains are just in full fall colors, it's breathtaking.
Look at those solar panels. Man.
Solar panels are really big up here too. A lot of people are really into the green energy. There's apparently it's something that there's light enough regulation on in this area that people can do that. I know in some areas people would like to, and it's just not possible. It's just not legally allowed, basically. This isn't one of those areas. You really can, for the most part, do what you want to on your own property. There's obviously some zoning and all of that. We're not quite the Free State yet. We're the Free State Project, but progress is continually being made.
Seems like there's a lot of respect for clean, pristine outdoor living.
Oh, people take great pride in this being a very pristine, nature preserve type area. So we're actually coming into Gorham now. Gorham is the neighboring town. So Berlin and Gorham are like almost one and the same, it seems. Like one runs right into the other. You wouldn't even know the difference if they didn't have signs up, really. So Gorham is our friendly neighbor here, and actually the town line is the regional line as well. Gorham is in the White Pines region, and Berlin is in the Great North Woods region. So if you want to sound really hardcore, like, yeah, I live in the Great North Woods, go more towards Berlin. And if you want to, if that's not appealing to you, then Gorham might be another good fit. But we really kind of consider it one and the same almost. We, as locals, often just refer to this as the Berlin-Gorham area because it's just so close-knit. And there's a lot of crossover between utilizing different services in one area and the other. So again, another really cool rock formation here. And this is the area that we kind of refer to as the Gorham Strip, which you'll see when we kind of get up here a little bit more, and the speed limit kicks up a little bit, and there's a lot more like big box stores that you're gonna see. So we're definitely not lacking in conveniences up here, whether you want more local business or whether you want more big box stores.
You can take your ATV from Berlin along most of this strip.
Well, not once it gets up here to the 40-mile-an-hour, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
But you can during the on season, the ATV season, you can actually drive your ATVs through the city of Berlin. The point being to get to trails, but honestly, a lot of locals just kind of drive them around almost as a second vehicle. So we're coming up into here. There is Top Furniture, and that's kind of a high-end, like an art van type place. If you're looking to get new furniture, we ordered from them. We were happy with what we got. It kind of took a long time, but that's okay. And in the end, we got exactly what we wanted. And then we have a Walmart Supercenter over here. And some of the locals jokingly refer to it as the mall. It's just kind of the place where we go walk around and hang out, and you know, you can get whatever you need from there. And the Chevy and GMC Buick dealership is right here. And as you'll see, there's a lot in the way of car dealerships up this strip. A lot of people come up this way and will just go from one dealership to the other, deal hunting and wheeling and dealing, and you can really get a good value. And especially being that here in New Hampshire, we have no state income tax or sales tax. So for people moving from states that do have sales tax, something, for example, buying a new car is huge savings, huge savings. And kind of some equipment centers over here, and there's an outdoor sports equipment all seasons kind of place here. There's Save-A-Lot, fitness center, the DMV is here, Dollar Tree, Peebles is kind of a department store type place like Kohl's or JCPenney, and TSC, of course. If you live here, you'll probably use TSC at some point in time. O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and as you saw a little further back, there was a Napa Auto Parts too if you do your own work. More car dealerships here, Nissan, Ford, Kia, Toyota, I mean, you name it. If you need a new car, this is totally the place to go. Enterprise Rent-A-Cars here. And all this, like right across the way from the river, so like, you know, you get a scenic experience while you're shopping. It's really kind of neat. Honda, and here's one of the many places where you can get your ATVs and your snowmobiles and all that good stuff. So we'll very shortly be coming into kind of what I consider to be the main, like this is technically Gorham, but it's kind of the Gorham Strip, you know, we kind of all use it. And we're coming up in what I consider to be more like Gorham proper, more the hometown kind of area, less of the big box store area. Taking in the scenery. So incredibly gorgeous here. I mean, again, you really got to see it to believe it. I can show you all the pictures and all the videos, and it's not going to do justice. If you're looking to be a homeowner, this is a great area to think about. You can get some great deals on property. Property prices and appraised values tend to be quite low here, and even though it can be a little bit misleading to look and see a highish tax rate. The thing to remember is that because the appraised values are some of the lowest, if not the outright lowest in the state, the actual dollar amount you're going to pay, despite the apparently high tax rate, is going to be some of the lowest actual amount of money that you pay. Does that make sense? I hope it does.
Well, let's take this.
So right up here, this is kind of one of the main-ish corners in Gorham. This is the Gorham Corner Market. And don't be misled by it just looking like a gas station. This is actually a really, really cool little shop. They've got bulk olive oil. They've got locally sourced meats and fine cheeses and wine and a little deli, and it's just a really, really cool locally owned shop. And then if you head further down this road, you would actually wind up heading out towards Lancaster. This is the road you would take if you were going out towards Littleton. Go solar if you're interested in solar panels, and the Good Neighbor storage. That's a really nice, good, secure storage unit. We actually used it ourselves, and we were very happy with them. Yeah, more residential area out here, and then it just kind of drops off and gets more into a country road for a while, and then eventually you kind of wind up in another area.
We're gonna come along a huge hill, and just a little trick for you flatlanders out there: you can put your car, and you have to keep your brakes from overheating, you can put your car into a lower gear, and that keeps you from riding the brakes all the way down. It makes your car slow down, and then you don't have to have your brakes go out on you. Bonus.
Totally. If we had gone a little further, we would have come across the trailheads for the ATV and hiking trails. There's a campground a little further out that way. Some scenic overlooks. It's actually a very beautiful drive, but for now we're gonna head back into town and just kind of focus as much as possible on more the amenities and really what this area has to offer new movers, whatever your walk of life.
Shall we brave the notch?
Yeah, we can do that. So we're what's referred to in New Hampshire as north of the Notches. The Notches are basically mountain passes, and the mountain being kind of the natural barrier between really northern and southern New Hampshire. So we'll kind of show you some of the most beautiful strip of area to drive through or hike through or whatever. But sometimes in the winter it can be just a little bit tricky. The Notches have their own little weather patterns. It's oftentimes where kind of different weather fronts might get trapped in the mountains, so to speak, or a lot of times where the northern cold fronts and the southern warm fronts might come together and get some kind of funky weather going on. So just something to be aware of, that it's just, go through there with caution in the winter, but as long as you keep your head on your shoulders, it shouldn't be a big deal.
And you can ride around in your spiked tires.
Yes, studded tires are permitted here in the winter months, which is kind of nice. We didn't realize that prior to moving, so that was a pleasant surprise, and it makes a huge difference on icy roads for traction and minimizing your risk of fishtailing and sliding around. Here in Gorham is where we have a lot of the lodging in the area. A lot of leaf peepers love to come and stay here in the fall, but also great for a potential mover who just wants to come and stay for a few days and check the area out. We've got snowmobile and ATV rentals. That's always kind of fun. And the Dynasty Buffet, nail salon, auto glass, Efficiency Apartments over here, another Chinese place. This is kind of a mom and pop shop type restaurant and lounge. And we just passed another doctor's office on the other side, the Coas Family Health Gorham offices. And we're coming up on Mountain Fire Pizza, which is amazing. Seriously, the best pizza I've ever had. If you come visit or come move to this area, you gotta go to Mountain Fire Pizza. Veterinary clinic over here, the North Country Animal Hospital, and McDonald's. The White Mountain Cafe and Bookstore is a really cool place. They've got like non-toxic, really nice kids' toys and books and good food and good coffee. We've got a tourist kind of place with rafting and dog sled rides and all that good stuff right next door to the White Mountain Cafe. Check out the view. Isn't it gorgeous? Edward Fenn Elementary School, back in there. And Sears, Stove Shop, another New Hampshire liquor and wine outlet, Quick Lube, and over here the Royalty Inn and Athletic Club. It's kind of like basically our version of a YMCA. It's a fitness center. They've got an indoor pool, all that good stuff. So there are a couple of options if you're a big like fitness type person, that we do have a couple fitness centers around town, and that probably being kind of the biggest one. The Salt Pub and Bistro, kind of a little more high-end type place. A couple of boutiques, hair salons. Right down this road is the Gorham Public Library, and they have some nice kids programs there if you have children. City Hall, it's down this road. And this is the Gorham Common, basically a big park area, and they have like farmers markets and movies in the park and different events here when it's a little warmer out. Obviously not so much this time of the year. If we were to go straight ahead, we would go through Shelbourne, and beyond that is the Maine border. We're probably half hour, 40 minutes or so from Bethel, Maine, which is another really nice town. You know, if you just kind of looking to get out and see something different, do something different. And we actually turned down Route 2 or Junction 2 or one of those, something 2. But